Good afternoon, friends. This week we're talking about how-tos. Yesterday I talked about how to make a peanut butter and banana sandwich. Today my how to make a paper airplane. Here's my paper airplane that I made. I did watch a YouTube video and you can find that link on here because I didn't know how to make one. Let's see if it flies. It does. I think it landed on the dog. Okay, so just for our purposes, I'm using 2 pieces of paper, and that's so that you can see my folds, okay? Maybe in my next teaching career, I'll be an art teacher. Okay, first things first, we gotta fold it hot dog style. Now, I know Miss Weidel has taught you all how to fold hot dog style. That's right, it's just in half on the long side. This is the long side, right? One thing I did notice when watching the videos to learn how to make a paper airplane, they worked really hard at pressing down the seams. So make sure you do that. So we're using transition words, and today I want to try to use a couple of different ones. I'm using to start. Well, what did I do to start? I folded my paper hot dog style. To start, I folded my paper hot dog style. Period. Remember, for it to be a sentence, you have to start a sentence with a capital and it has to end with punctuation. We have 3 choices for punctuation. We have a period, an exclamation point, and a question. A period is for a statement, and that's when I'm telling you something, right? An exclamation point is when I'm excited or I'm scared and I might yell something. A question mark is when I'm asking you something that needs a response. So be aware that every good sentence needs to start with a capital and end with punctuation. Otherwise, it's not a sentence. So I folded it hot dog style. Let me show you step 2. Open it back up to the seam, and we're going to fold down opposite corners to the center. And I'm using 2 different colored paper so that you all can see my folds. So, step 2, right? I folded opposite ends down towards the center. Step 2. Okay, so in my how-to, my sentence, I'm going to say, next, I folded the ends. How about the opposite ends? No, the ends in on opposite sides. There we go. That makes a little more sense. So you have to really think about it, and that's why rereading is so important, to make sure your sentences make sense. That's why we reread. To start, I folded my paper hot dog style. Next, I folded the ends in on opposite sides. So that is what we just did right here. The next step, okay, we have this. This is the tricky part. Watch carefully. The next step is you are going to fold down the edges. Let me grab a sheet of paper here to show you what I'm talking about. You're going to fold down this edge, but you have to come all the way to the corner, to the front tip to fold it down. And then you just fold it all the way down. I'm not joking, this was the trickiest part for me. Let me show you again. You fold it all the way down at this front point so that this front lines up with this middle seam. Oh, let me pull it back. Notice this back part is not lining up. Okay? So now your plane kind of looks like this. Okay? So, transition word. Then I folded to the oops, I almost spelled that wrong. The paper to the outside, or how about from the outside point down here's what I'm talking about. It was like this, and I folded it from the outside point down. And I'm going to use the word lining up front edge. Okay, let's look at our sentences and reread them to make sure they make sense. To start, I folded my paper hot dog style. Next, I folded the ends in on opposite sides. Then I folded the paper from the outside point down, lining up the front edge. Make sure you do this to both sides. Okay, so now we have our plain folded like this. This was like step 2. Step 3. Ready? We are going to fold these same outsides. We folded them once. We're going to fold them one more time. Lining up that front edge once again to that outside seam. Remember to press down hard, okay? So here's my original, right? I folded it down here, and then taking the point, I'm gonna fold it down one more time. Let me go ahead and do that so you can see. And remember, I'm just lining up these with the edge, that middle seam. Make sure you don't take that center piece. Sorry, folded it the wrong way. Remember to press. Okay, here's my airplane. Okay. Let's see if it flies. Yep, it flew. Not far. I think it was too heavy. Okay, our last step. So, lastly, I folded the wing. Let's call that the wing. One more time. Following the point in. We might want to say, instead of following, aligning. So you'll notice when your plane is folded, the wings don't line up. And I've always done that when I folded an airplane. So let's do what good writers do, which is always check our writing. To start, I folded my paper hot dog style. Next, I folded the ends on opposite sides. Then I folded the paper from the outside point down, lining up from the front edge. See? I made a mistake. I missed a word. Lining up the. We want to make sure it flows well. Lastly, I folded the wing one more time, aligning the point end. I hope, I'm going to do a concluding sentence. I hope You enjoy flying your plane. Period. We use several transition words. Let's quickly look at those. We used to start, telling our readers that right now I'm going to start telling you what to do. Next, to start in the next. Then, what did I do after next? Then, lastly. So we use to start, next, then, and lastly. So remember to use your transition words. Remember to use capitals. Remember to use punctuation. And don't forget finger spaces so that your words are separated. I hope you enjoy learning to make the paper airplane. If you want to watch that video, remember to follow the link I've attached.